What's up YouTube? Welcome to my channel. I'm Jables. Today we're going to have a slight collection overview of my 1/6 scale figures here and this new display case I found they got set up. It's from Moducase. They're a company from overseas that make modular display cases. You can buy them in different shapes and sizes, and they come in, these little cubes here that you can kind of see, and you put them together however you want, and they all fit together and they're modular and you can take them apart and move them around. They're really cool. It took probably about a little over a year, maybe a year to get these. I ordered them maybe a year and a half ago, but it took me like 4 or 5 months before I was able to get it together. I bought the 1/6 series for the 1/6 figures. I did not get the bigger ones like the DF series or Max, I think the other one is. Those ones are a lot taller per cube and they have a little bit more depth, but I only collect 1/6 scale figures really, so I didn't need the bigger ones. You can do a lot more if you have like the Hulk Busters and stuff like that, or giant figures. They're not going to really fit in here. You can kind of see how tall Chewbacca is there, but I wanted this to be a little closer together, and I didn't want it to go all the way up to the ceiling. You can kind of see I have the helmets up there sitting on the top shelf, and then down at the bottom I have it sitting off the ground. Because these are smaller figures than like statues and stuff, I didn't want the bottom shelf sitting on the ground where you couldn't really see it unless you got down on your knees, and that was part of why it took me a while to get this put together, is I had to figure out how to get this thing off the ground. So what I did is I bought some more of this aluminum tubing off of I think I got it on Amazon. You can buy it anywhere, and they have little pieces to help you like get it all put together, and little corner pieces and connectors and stuff. And I just bought a bunch of those and cut all the pieces myself, and just basically brought this thing up off the ground 1.5 feet or so. So the bottom shelf is, it's viewable without having to get on the ground and like sit on it and stuff. So that was kind of my goal. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with that space yet, or if I'm going to put some more shelves down there, or just box them off, or maybe come up with a cabinet or drawers or something. But overall, I really like this display case. It gives you a lot of options. You'll probably notice that there's 2 different colors of lights in here, and that was something I noticed when I put it all together. There's white or pure white here and warm white here, and I actually ordered it with the warm white for everything, and it came mixed, and so that was kind of an error on their part. But also, once I got it together, I actually liked the white ones better, and so I contacted them and let them know, and they were awesome enough to tell me that they're going to replace the ones in the middle with the white ones. And I offered to pay more, but they said it was their fault and they would do that, and that was really nice of them. I actually have 3 more display cases coming in that are probably they're about the width of 2 of these square ones on the side, so about 2/3 of the one in the middle. I ordered those in warm also, and they're gonna change those to white before they ship out here in this month, I think. So really awesome customer service. I offered to pay extra for more lighting since I would basically be keeping both of them, and they said no. So that's really cool. I appreciate that from them. Overall, these weren't too hard to put together. I think the biggest issue with getting these together was taking all the plastic off of these plexiglass windows here. That was the most time consuming and tedious, and then cleaning them all when you're done, because you don't want to scratch them. So I bought some anti-static plexiglass cleaner so I could do that. Another thing that I noticed is these connectors hanging down here. They kind of hang and they don't really go anywhere. And I tried using some electrical tape to hold them up, and it's not really strong enough, so I'm gonna have to get some double back tape or something a little stronger to hold those up. But I'm gonna wait to do that once the pure white lights for the middle section come in. There was the same kind of issue here in the corner where the connector coming from this light to here, was hanging down and looping around, and I couldn't really get it to stick up. But what I came up with was, if you look at this channel here, it's two pieces. You got the bottom piece that sticks up there, and then you got the I guess you would say the top piece that sticks up there, and the bottom piece that slides over, covers it up. I just cut the piece up here shorter, so this plug would kind of hide in the other part of the channel here, and it still just fits up there just nice like that, and you don't really see it. So I did that on this end. I also did that over here on this end where the plug doesn't really go to anything. It just kind of goes up here and stops. But I put a channel in here anyway. You don't even notice it, like it looks really good. So that's what I would suggest to do if you guys have these and you're trying to figure out how to hide the wires on the corners there. These are pretty nice. They went together real easy. There was a couple of spots where like the holes here that are drilled and to give you access to the heads of the screws were a little off from where the screws were. And I think there was 2 holes that I had to pull out my own drill and drill a hole a little bit bigger. If you've got some tools, it's not a big deal if you're not scared to do that kind of thing. But so yeah, I've been waiting for this thing to come in for a long time, and finally got it together for the most part here that I can show off my collection of the 1/6 figures that I have open. I have so many more over the last 3 years that I have not opened, maybe 4 years, because I ran out of space or I just didn't know where to put them. And you know, these figures are a little spread out in here because there's not a lot in there, but we're gonna pack them in there. We're gonna reorganize. I have a bunch of Mandalorian figures. Some of these figures will probably get moved out of here. I'll go over which ones are from Hot Toys and which ones are Sideshow. When I started collecting, I didn't know the difference, and there's definitely a quality difference here. Another thing that I have, and we'll kind of start over here with these figures, and I'll talk about this stand back here in the back. These are Bandai Tamashii Nations Samurai, like Star Wars figures. I'm completely love this line. They're a little expensive. Sometimes you can find them on for a deal, like down for like 50 or 60 bucks, but usually they're, you know, 70 to 100 plus, so, you know, when they're new. We got Darth Vader here. There's 2 different Darth Vaders. There's one with a Death Star helmet, and then there's this one. And then there's a Boba Fett here. This is the Boba Fett Ronin. And I don't remember what the other ones are called specifically, but there's a regular Stormtrooper there and a Royal Guard. And we have a Sand Trooper there, and he does have the backpack on him, so you know, that looks really awesome. I have more of these that I want to open up. I have a closet that's completely full from floor to ceiling of Hot Toys figures that are unopened and these things, and so I'm gonna open a lot of those on this channel one at a time and kind of go over all the new stuff. And so that'll be something that we're doing here going forward, is mostly just opening up my backlog of Hot Toys and anything cool like this in the 6-inch figure line. I did buy this stand from, you can kind of see in the back there how the back ones are raised up. This was also from the Moducase company, and I thought it would be really cool to buy that to stick some of these bigger figures on there. But yeah, if you put the bigger figures on here and they're sitting on like the stand like this, they're not going to fit. So 2 things need to happen. Either you can get a medium or an average size figure to stand up on their own like these figures and not use the base that they come with, or I'm gonna have to, I actually have a bunch of extra of this aluminum piecing, or I guess I call that T-slot 2020, and make maybe half legs or something, like something about that big. So these stands don't really go with this case if you're doing 6 scale figures, but you can make it work if you have a drill and a tap to tap in the screw into the where the screw would go inside that fitting there. So I'm gonna do that. It would be cool if Moducase would send these with 2 different size legs, maybe like the regular height and there, and then oops. Another reason I like to use the stands when I'm doing this is so the figures don't fall over, but you know, it is what it is. Starting over here, I've got a couple of Sideshow pieces here. This is R5-D4, who showed up in The Mandalorian, which is really awesome, and a couple of Jawas. These are all Sideshow. I'm glad I got R5 because, you know, I don't know if they'll ever make another one, but the Jawas, look really cool, but man, they are a pain in the butt. The hoods just kind of sit on there, and you flop the sides back and hopefully they look decent. And the legs and the arms are so flimsy that the hands fall off. If you move them, they fall over. They barely stand up on their own. But if you can get them to kind of sit like that, you know, they look all right. I used to have a RoboCop that they were, you know, kind of, the job was we're checking out RoboCop, and he had his little wrist blade out, or a wrist spike, and yeah, it was a pretty cool display. So now we got some Hot Toys figures here. This is when I started collecting in 2015, I didn't even know what any of this stuff was, and luckily I kind of jumped on these because you can't really find these cheap at all anymore. And so we got a New Hope Leia right here with her, you know, her white outfit and her classic buns and all that stuff, and she's pretty awesome here. And this Han and Chewie was a 2-pack that goes for astronomical prices now. I think it's up to like 800, somewhere in the $800, $900 range. I think it's the most expensive 2-pack out there. Individually, they're not as expensive as the most expensive single figures, but together in that 2-pack, they're worth quite a bit. And this is probably 2 of my favorite figures. Han and Chewie are like my favorite characters. This is not the helmet, the head sculpt that came with it. I got this third-party one off of eBay because I wanted this smirk, and his regular head is right here, and you can kind of tell the difference here. The hair is a little bit different color, and the paint apps on the Hot Toys one is much better, but that smirk is priceless. I think it cost me 25 bucks, and that was well worth it. But the tailoring on this guy and just the duo of him and Chewie are awesome. Chewie's hair is phenomenal. I am really glad I got this because they've only made like a couple Chewbacca's. They made this one and one for the newer movies, and the new one doesn't look as good. But if you have a chance to get these up at a decent price, I would do it. But you know, they really should make some more of these because these are like the core Star Wars characters, and a lot of people are missing them in their collection. So. And then we have A New Hope Luke Skywalker in his farm boy outfit. This is a really cool figure just because it's a classic, iconic Luke look, but I'm probably going to change it out where he's not holding the saber. This is his light up saber hand, but the batteries died, so I can't really light that one up. But really cool Luke. I'm going to change it out where he's wearing his like hat and his binoculars and stuff like that, and it'll look much better. This Obi-Wan Kenobi here is freaking awesome. It's one of my favorite sculpts. Like Hot Toys is really good at doing the sculpts of like older people. Maybe there's just more detail, but this is just great. Like it's one of my favorites. It's Ben Kenobi, you know. So these 5 figures right here, just classic, you know. I don't know if they'll make more of these ever again, but I'm definitely glad to have them in my collection. Now these 2, C-3PO and R2-D2, these are sideshow pieces. I don't think Hot Toys has ever made a C-3PO. I don't really know what they would do to improve upon it. It is pretty awesome the way it is. I'm happy with it. I have no real gripes. His eyes light up, his fingers move. You do have to be careful with the sideshow pieces with all those little pistons and stuff like that, because once you start moving the arms around, they can get jammed or fall off or break. So, which happened to me on the probe droid, and I'll show you that in a minute. R2 is awesome. He's got a bunch of compartments that open up, and he's got the little hologram there. And obviously, these guys kind of complete the original trilogy Good Guys collection. I did not get Darth Vader from the original trilogy. I do have a Tarkin and maybe a couple others, and that's just stuff that I need to open, so that's going to be fun. But moving down to this shelf, we have a Sideshow TIE Pilot, and this guy, I love him. I don't know if Hot Toys made a regular TIE Pilot, but this guy looks so badass. His tailoring is really good. I'm never gonna get rid of this guy unless, I mean, even if they made a Hot Toys one, I don't know. Like this thing's really cool to me. This is a Sideshow piece too. the Scout Trooper and the speeder bike. This thing is really finicky though, so like if you start touching stuff, the little pieces just fall off or they start moving around. It was really hard to get them to sit on there properly, but once you do, you just don't move them. All these little rocks on here just kind of fall off, and you know, every time you try to move him, everything just kind of falls apart. So he's one of those guys where you just pose him and walk away. But I do really like it. I have the Mandalorian speeder bike and Scout Trooper from the episodes that we'll kind of open up later and compare him with. I don't know if I'm going to keep him in here or not because he takes up a lot of space, but he looks really awesome. Now back here we have a Space Trooper from A New Hope, and he's one of the guys that just kind of was chilling on the outside of the Death Star when the Millennium Falcon was going on the inside. And he's the closest thing I have to a normal Stormtrooper, at least for now. I finally did pick up one when they re-released a Return of the Jedi version, I think. I haven't opened him yet, so he's kind of like my normal quote-unquote Stormtrooper there. These two, I'm sorry, were sideshow pieces, and these figures right here are Hot Toys. Hot Toys, also with A New Hope, they have this Sand Trooper, and he is great. His paint applications look really awesome. I will never get rid of this guy. This is the classic Star Wars first movie like icon, and I'm really glad to have that in my collection there. I'm not really sure how hard he is to find, but it's been a long time since they put that one out. I think I got him when I got all these back in like 2015 or 16. So yeah, not gonna get rid of him. We have a Rogue One Shore Trooper Captain here. This is the original one that nobody bought, and then it went up to like $600 and everyone was freaking out about it. And finally they re-released a couple of new ones that are a little different. I have the squad leader from Rogue One that we'll open up and we'll get next to him. I don't think I've bought the Mandalorian grunt yet, just the guy with basic yellow, the lunch tray holding guy from the Mandalorian episode. If I do pick him up, we'll get all three of them together and that'll be really cool. We got a Death Trooper specialist here from Rogue One. This was not the deluxe, but I wanted this gun that came with it. It's got that silvery, like charred tip or heated up tip that looked just so awesome to me. And none of the little leather on here has started fading or cracking or peeling yet, which is good. I live in Washington. I don't seem to have a problem with that here, Washington State. But this guy's really cool. I do have another one from the Mandalorian that we'll open up and we'll get with him. And or I'll put them on the Mandalorian shelf. I don't know. I want to do a shelf that's all just, you know, Mandalorian stuff for now. So we're gonna have to reorganize and see where this takes us here. Then we got three figures right here that are from the new movies, the Force Awakens trilogy. Those figures are probably gonna go back in a box, or I don't know what I'm gonna do with them, but they are gonna make room for something else. I think Captain Phasma was a really cool design, and everyone was really waiting for this character to kind of do something and be really badass, and then they just decided to kill her off, and you know, whatever. But she had a knee piece here that fell off, and I have no idea where the Velcro on the back of that went, so I have to get a little piece of Velcro and put it back on there. I like to think that when she was killed off in the movie that the knee piece fell off on my display, and it just won't go back on now, so I don't know. We have a First Order TIE Pilot here. Definitely not as cool as the other TIE Pilot, but still kind of cool. I'm gonna move him. We have a First Order Stormtrooper. I do like the helmet design on these Stormtroopers the most out of all the new designs. The TIE Pilot was okay. I don't really like the Flame Trooper, or was it a Flame Trooper or was it a Snow Trooper? I don't remember, but he's all right. He was hard to pose, really stiff. They're just not great, you know. This one, at least Captain Phasma looks cool, you know, with all the silver and stuff, but I'm gonna make room for something else. But those are all three Hot Toys figures here. Now this is a probe droid from Sideshow I bought a long time ago. I was really excited about it because Empire Strikes Back is my favorite Star Wars movie, as most people's. It's just a great film, and there's a lot of cool stuff in that movie. This thing, I took it out of the box and just started moving it around, and immediately this piece jammed up and broke off, and so it just kind of sits there and pretend like it's not broken. But I quickly realized after playing with a few sideshow figures that once you take it out of the box and kind of pose it the way you want it, just don't touch it anymore. Yeah, just leave it alone. My point in case is I have a Jango Fett that's sideshow piece, and it's probably the worst figure I've ever had. It's really cool looking. Every time I touch it to fix something else falls off, and his leg is just slowly falling off, like one piece at a time, starting from the foot going up. And luckily there's a new Jango Fett coming out from Hot Toys soon, so we won't have to worry about that. So here we've got a sideshow piece. This is one of my favorite figures in the collection. It being a sideshow piece, it's really awesome. The tailoring is phenomenal. This is the Snow Speeder Luke from Empire Strikes Back. It's just a really great figure, and there is a Hot Toys version that's coming out, and I did order it, and we're gonna get them together and compare them and figure out which one we're gonna put on display. But I really like that figure, and he just looks great. I mean, just standing normal, he just looks epic, you know? Like, it's freaking awesome. We got a Hot Toys Yoda here, and he's really cool to look at, but man, his legs are so loose. He just wants to fall over all the time. So you kind of just have to get him in a pose if you do have this figure, and just kind of leave him as is. And this is a little gift I got for Christmas this year from Miles. And Miles, I thank you so much. This is awesome. This is a freeze frame from Return of the Jedi Special Edition. And you can't really see it, but the frame itself is of Han and Leia and Chewie all sitting and going over the second Death Star plans and coming up with an attack plan, and to have the three of them in a frame. And I used to work at a movie theater, so I was kind of nerding out over the frame itself, and you can see all the different audios and stuff on it, and it looks really cool. This is a Chirrut from Rogue One, and he's really freaking sweet to have a Donnie Yen in the collection here. Really great figure. I got a couple more Rogue One figures that I want to open up. I got some Jyn Ersos and K2SO and all that stuff. So one of my also favorite Star Wars movies. Instantly loved this movie as soon as I saw it. Hopefully they'll make his companion piece Baze sometime. I know Hot Toys has teased it for a while, but who knows if they're ever going to make it. If they do, I think people will buy it. This is a sideshow Boba Fett figure, and I had actually all the bounty hunters at one point, but they went up in value so much, and I'm hoping that Hot Toys makes them someday, that I just sold them. This one I bought used, so I'm keeping him. I do have a couple other Boba Fetts, like Empire Strikes Back from Hot Toys, I want to open up. This one, I really like the cape on him, and the paint's pretty good. The chest always kind of bothered me a little bit, how it kind of caved in a little, but hopefully the Hot Toys one's better. When I get them, I can compare them. But this was one of my first figures I bought, and he was used, but I freaking love him. He looks awesome, and I don't know what I'm going to do with him when I replace him with the Hot Toys one, but for now he's here. And then we have a Force Awakens Kylo here, and this is a cool figure. He didn't come with the head sculpt, but I really like his fabric design, and he's just a cool figure overall. I did have the one from the next movie that had his head sculpt, but I sold it before I opened it because I just don't really need two Kylos, you know? This figure right here was my first 6 scale figure. This is a sideshow Return of the Jedi Darth Vader. And when I saw this on a website, I didn't know anything about 6 scale figures, 12-inch figures. I didn't know Hot Toys, I didn't know sideshow. And somebody sent me a link to this, and it was this $250 Darth Vader that was freaking amazing. He had the head, you know, without his helmet on, you could swap out. You can put his hand on there that's cut off. He can lay on the ground and recreate all the scenes from Return of the Jedi. And luckily enough, I had a girlfriend at the time that bought me this figure. So this is my very first figure that got me into it. And I never thought I was gonna buy any more, and it just turns into a giant rabbit hole. But it's a pretty cool figure. He looks awesome, he's imposing. I do have a Return of the Jedi figure that I'm going to open eventually and put out, but I don't know, I'll probably keep this one on display too. His lightsaber's not as cool as the Hot Toys ones, but his chest lights up and all that jazz. But yep, really awesome. He also comes with a little display here for his helmet if you're gonna have him, you know, not wearing the helmet or whatever. But last figure we got here is Darth Maul, and this Darth Maul is also a sideshow piece, and I really liked the paint on the helmet or the head. It was so awesome when I got it, but over time he has become a pile of crap. Sideshow joints and legs are so loose on this guy. He barely stands up even with the stand. Like every time I try to move him, his legs are just like, his arms barely hold the lightsaber up. I didn't know the difference between Hot Toys and Sideshow back then, and that Hot Toys is superior, and I didn't buy the Darth Maul then when it came out for Hot Toys, and I wish I would have, because now it's kind of out of range. So he's still a cool figure and he looks really cool. The paint looks really awesome on him, but I just wish that he had more posability, you know. So as you can see, I have a Black Series helmet in here, and I have a Black Series helmet collection across the top over here. So we are going to put at least 6 helmets here on display, 3 being on this side and 3 being on that side. Once we figure out which ones I want to open, I have more than 6, so I either have to figure out how to put some more up on top here and light them up, or just do 6 at a time and kind of rotate them. But so this is a Mandalorian Season 1 Incinerator Trooper helmet. I don't have a regular Stormtrooper helmet, so I bought this one. The paint looked a lot cooler on the box than it does in person. Like this is kind of, it's cool, but it's like not that great at the same time. But it's the only Stormtrooper helmet that I had available because I missed the original one and they're kind of expensive. So this might go back in the box to make room for different helmets here, but maybe you guys can help me decide on which ones you want to see opened here. I'm going to kind of show you the ones with what I got here at the top. We have Luke Skywalker's X-Wing helmet right up here. I think that one's going to go on display for sure because it's iconic. We have Boba Fett's helmet here, Empire Strikes Back. I believe we will, is that Empire Strikes Back or is that, I'm not sure it says, but either way, that one for sure is going on display. I don't think I'm gonna do the prototype helmet here just because it's kind of up in value, and I got a lot of Mandalorian helmets to do. So that one, probably not, but maybe. This is the newest Death Watch helmet that I got from GameStop. This is a GameStop exclusive, that's why I picked it up. So we might open that one and put that one in there. I think we're for sure gonna put this Mandalorian helmet in there. It's too awesome to have in the box. Darth Vader, for sure, needs to be on display. First Order Stormtrooper, not sure. Really like the helmet design, but I'm not sure if I have space to put it on display yet. But I got that for Christmas this year, and thanks Mike for that. It's really awesome. Mike actually got me this one too for a year ago, I think. So props to Mike. This is a Shadow Trooper helmet, and this helmet is really cool. I think it's gonna go on display. I missed out on the first wave, but then a second wave came around a while later and I got it, and it's awesome. And then you've already seen this one. So that is my collection for now. This is the Moducase setup that I've got here. If you guys have any thoughts on which helmets we should do to put in here, or you know, if you want to just see a bunch of Hot Toys getting opened, I'm going to do a bunch of unboxing videos for all of those. I have so many that are unboxed, and we'll just, as we open them on this channel, we'll find a new home for them on this shelf, and we'll kind of get it to grow. And once we get the lights replaced here, I'll get a video of that going in, and hopefully it'll all match and look like this pure white over here, which I do like the warm light. It makes it look more natural, but I think that the white, the pure white, looks cleaner. It looks like, you know, more like a museum. So One thing I almost forgot to throw in at the end here was these two figures sitting over here. This is a original Luke Skywalker from 1977, AFA graded. Nothing special about him. He's a 75 grade loose figure. I got this in a raffle, or I'm sorry, a mystery box, and pretty happy about that because I paid less than what he's worth. So there's that. And then this is a Black Series baby, or the child, I guess they would call it, Baby Yoda, Grogu. This is a variant with light cuffs and collar, and I bought this on eBay, graded at a 9.0 with AFA. I think AFA is the better grading company, and then there's CAS, which is pretty good too. And the reason I bought this is because I really like the Black Series figures, and I'm kind of a, when it comes to the Hot Toys, I definitely want them out and on display. But when it comes to Black Series, I'm an inbox collector. And then I decided, well, it would be really cool to collect every single Mandalorian figure that comes out. So I've kind of made it a quest for myself to gather every single Mandalorian figure in the box in mint condition and get them kind of graded and have a graded collection of a lot of the figures in that show will be the first figures that these characters have ever had. So, you know, that's something that we're going to do on this channel too. I have a couple of batches already at the grader right now, and they take months to get back. But as I get them back and send more in, I'll make some videos on those, and we'll kind of do update videos from time to time. So yeah, so let me know what you guys think about all this, and if you have any comments or questions, just leave them down below. Thank you guys so much for spending this time with me and kind of going over my collection here, and yeah, check you later.